You're listening to Catholic Chicago on WNDZ 750 AM. During the next hour, the Archdiocese of Chicago brings you programs about the people, events, and issues that touch our lives. Welcome to Catholic Chicago.
Welcome to Catholic Chicago on WNDZ 750 AM. Father Greg Sakowicz, the rector of Holy Name Cathedral, and co-host Mark Teresi, executive director of the cathedral. Good morning, Mark. How are you?
Good to see you in the studio today.
We are live streaming,
and you're
we
feeling
are
good?
social distancing, and we are also, the hip is feeling terrific, and we are also, again, live streaming on the program here. Our phone number 312-255-8408, 312-255-8408. And realize, Mark, the last 3 days have been spring-like.
Beautiful.
And yesterday's high was 69 degrees, 1 degree short of the all-time record of 70.
I know. It's just absolutely beautiful. I ride in Lakeshore Drive, and it's just a gorgeous ride in the morning.
And they're talking possible snow next week. But, March is very volatile.
I know. Leave it at Chicago.
Leave it at Chicago, the highs and lows. Again, great program lined up, and we have the first half hour from the New York Times best-selling author Mark Shriver comes 10 Hidden Heroes, an exciting seek and find book with a message featuring everyday heroes at home and in our neighborhoods. This vibrantly illustrated book helps children develop counting skills and learn how they too can be heroes in day-to-day life. Mark Shriver is president of Save the Children Action Network in Washington, D.C. He's the author of Pilgrimage, My Search for Pope Francis, the New York Times best-selling memoir, A Good Man, Rediscovering My Father, Sergeant Shriver, which received the 2013 Christopher Award. Mark, welcome to the program this morning. How are you?
I'm great, thank you, Father. Thanks so much for having me on.
Now, Mark, were you raised in the Washington, D.C. area?
Yes. I was born in Maryland and raised in Maryland. Just 20 minutes outside of downtown D.C.
Now,
we're actually speaking of the warm weather. It was 72 degrees here yesterday, and it's supposed to snow next week here as well. So we got. I guess we have that in common with Chicago.
You'll get our weather, and now being from the out east, there, you would follow what football team as a child?
It's now called the Washington football team. In the old days, it was called the Redskins.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah, and then, the Baltimore Colts are 30 miles away, but everybody around here was Redskins fans or Washington football team fans.
Now, this is Mark Teresi, and I think your parents were in Chicago for a while. Were they not?
Yes, my mom and dad were in Chicago in the 50s. My father came east in 1960 to work for President Kennedy, started the Peace Corps. But my dad was the president of the Chicago School Board. He ran the Merchandise Mart. And my three older siblings were all born in Chicago.
Now, Mark, you're going to love this. Mark has a story to share with you that he told me right before the program. Mark, share it with Mark.
So you can tell your sister Maria this story. So I was baptized at St. Clement's. And when I worked at the seminary, Father Mariano Vida gave us a gift. I called him. I said, Father Mariano, you baptized me at St. Clement's. He said, and that was years and years before. And he said to me, yeah, I remember that. I said, how do you remember my baptism? Well, he said, because I was scheduled for the baptism right before yours, and Cardinal Stritch called and said, I will take that baptism. I said, well, who's baptized right before me? Maria Shriver. So your sister, so I was known for who I was not. But I thought, what a neat story.
Now, that would have been, what, 1955?
1955.
Yeah, that's a good one. I know that I know of Cardinal Stritch, and I know of his work in there. And my father was very involved in the Catholic Interracial Council in Chicago, and did a lot of work with Cardinal Stritch, who, unsegregated or desegregated, I guess, or integrated, I guess is the right term, the Catholic schools and the Catholic hospitals in Chicago.
So which means, Mark, you would have been there the day of the baptism for Maria at St. Clemens.
No, he's younger. I think.
Oh, no, that was 1955.
Yeah, I'm younger. Maria's about 7 years older than me, but I'm doing a Zoom call with her tonight, so I'll tell her that story. That's a great story.
Tell that story. Well, first of all, Mark, tell us how the book 10 Hidden Heroes came about.
Well, the two books I wrote, one on my father and one on Pope Francis, and really, spent so much time trying to focus on what makes someone good, what makes, as compared to great, because some of these folks that are great, that are celebrated in our society for having money or power or prestige, celebrity, doesn't make them a good person. And I just thought that especially as COVID started rolling out, so many people were talking about the essential heroes, the essential workers in our society. And I, believe that we ought to be holding those people up as examples of goodness, of decency, of humility, and other hidden heroes on a day in and day out basis. So this book is really, it's like Where's Waldo, but instead of finding Waldo, we're trying to find the hidden heroes. Your kids are trying to find the hidden heroes, whether they're doing environmental work, whether they're doing work in the home, whether they're doing, helping folks out in medical care. So we celebrate, and some of the hidden heroes are nurses and doctors, but they're also the custodian in the hospital who make sure the rooms are clean, who does a lot of the work behind the scenes, the people who pick up the recycling and the people who compost. I mean, these are small gestures. What Pope Francis talks about, the hidden saints next door who, through little acts of love, are changing history. I really believe that's true. Their little acts can make a big difference.
So, Pope Francis, your dad, essential workers, what are some of the qualities that all three of those possess that you see?
Well, I think the first thing is a sense of humility, is a sense of understanding that we're all equal. I think the folks that I admire the most, in my house growing up, my mom started Special Olympics, and it really was, started in Chicago. It was the first international games at Soldier Field in 1968. Judge Burke, played a huge role in that as well, and Burke out there in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
My mother and father used to always say that the heroes were Special Olympics athletes and their parents who are, doing athletic activities, training every day without making a lot of money, without a lot of acclaim, and that they were doing the small things well. So I think it's a sense of humility. I think it's a sense of doing what's right even when no one is looking. Mm-hmm. My father treated everybody with respect, whether they were Cardinal Stritch or the waitress at his favorite restaurant.
And boy, now that is a wonderful gift to
sure
treat
is.
both equally and not because of one's title or position to cater to. Now that is a wonderful gift. Mark, take us to break.
We're going to take a little break. WNDZ, 750 AM on your dial. We're speaking with Mark Shriver. We're talking about 10 hidden heroes and some of the personal heroes in his life and how those qualities do impact and are models for us in how to live our lives. We'll be back in a few minutes. Please stay tuned.
Caring adults make all the difference in the lives of adolescents. Catholic Charities understands this, and our mentorship program provides a free opportunity for youth living in Lake County to spend time, virtually, with volunteers who genuinely care about them. This program is ideal for youths age 9 to 12 who may need support navigating the challenges of childhood and early adolescence, Our amazing volunteers serve as friends and role models who help youth recognize their strengths and empower them to reach their full potential. Catholic Charities conducts a thorough background check on every volunteer, and our program coordinator closely monitors and supports each relationship. Mentoring is a fun after-school program that is totally different from remote learning. Virtual group sessions help youth enjoy fun activities with their peers, too. We're connecting youth with great role models. Join us today. To learn more, call 312-937-3375. That's 312-937-3375.
We invite you to watch Catholic Chicago this weekend, featuring a conversation with Cardinal Blaise Cupich and video highlights from across the Archdiocese. Here's host Todd Williamson.
The effort to get vaccinated, why the Church is helping to spread the word. We'll go inside the classroom as a national study shows how Chicago's Catholic schools are keeping students on track during the pandemic. And too many people are going hungry. We'll visit a food pantry where Catholics are working to meet that need.
Watch Catholic Chicago Friday at 7 p.m. on Chicago Loop Cable, Channel 25, and Sunday afternoon at 3 on the Comcast Network, Channel 100.
We're back. Catholic Chicago, WNDZ, 750 AM on your dial. We're speaking with Mark Shriver, author of many books, but the one we're going to be speaking about today at length is 10 Hidden Heroes, an exciting seek and find book with a special message. Father Greg, you have a question.
Yeah, along those lines with your book, Mark, 10 Hidden Treasures or 10 Hidden Heroes. And in your own life, looking back on your childhood, who were the hidden heroes in your life? Exclude family. But I remember that, like in my own life, there was a neighbor down the street. His name was George. I was about 6, 7, 8 years old. He was the kindest man. You know, he was about 70 years old, which I thought he was beyond dead by way of age. But he was so kind and always helping the neighbors. And that, in my life, he became, for me, a hero. Who were some of the heroes when you were a boy growing up?
Well, it's a great question. And, you know, in our life, there were folks in and out of our house. You know, my father started the Peace Corps. There were Peace Corps volunteers in and out of there, and people who had worked in the Peace Corps with my father. And my mother, you know, had started Special Olympics, so there were Special Olympics athletes that were in and out of our house. My mother had a lot of, you know, friends that had developmental disabilities. You know, Goldie, who helped her out, was a friend and, you know, colleague who, you know, showed up every day for work, had a developmental disability. She was fantastic, you know, and it was people like the parents of Special Olympics athletes, as I mentioned a little bit ago. You know, there were folks that were in and out, but that we knew cared deeply about their community, cared about their children. And you have to remember in the early 70s and into the 70s, and still today, people with developmental disabilities are isolated, they're forgotten. And, you know, those parents had to work hard, and still do today, to include their children in school, to allow their adult children to live on their own, to have jobs. So those are the folks that were always held up in our house and that I always admired for doing great work. And in the book, 10 Hidden Heroes, this book we're talking about, you know, there's a page about people with Special Olympics, that are in Special Olympics. And a couple years ago, I was at the International Games in the United Arab Emirates in Abu Dhabi. And, you know, a country that doesn't recognize Israel. At the International Games, the Israeli athletes marched in with the athletes from the UAE, from Egypt, from all around the United States, all around the world. And, you know, they got a standing ovation. And there's a part of they're one of the hidden heroes. The athletes from Israel are arm in arm with the athlete from the UAE, United Arab Emirates. And I'm hoping that people will realize that the Special Olympics athletes are leaders and heroes in their own right, that they can show us that what unites us is so much more there than what divides us, and that they can, through these gestures of sports, in this case, show us how to really be human with each other. And so that's really the folks that I admired most. On a personal basis as well, the athletes, I had great admiration for Rocky Bleier, who played for the Pittsburgh Steelers, who went to Vietnam to represent his country, fought back against injuries. I mean, he, was well known at that point in time, but he wasn't the star of those Pittsburgh Steelers teams. That was.
I think he wore number 20.
I cannot remember. I know he went to Notre Dame.
Rocky Bleier.
Growing up as a kid, you always rooted for Notre Dame. But I think the point was is that he wasn't a big shot, and had done the small things, had worked very, very hard, and that's what this book is about. It's about people who are doing small gestures to keep the community whole, that are working hard, that don't get a lot of recognition, don't get paid a lot of money, but that they're examples of what real heroes do.
So on a personal note, Mark, our youngest is special needs, Special Olympian. We have a rack in our home with all of her gold medals. So
congratulations.
A special thank you to you and your family for all that you've done.
What does she compete? What does she compete in?
Oh, you name it. She competes in the parallel bar. She competes in the basketball. She competes. You name the sport, and she did down.
She's quite a little athlete.
Yeah, she did downhill skiing, and her picture was on the front page of the Des Moines Register as one of the Olympians. So,
congratulations! That's fantastic.
From my heart to you, thank you so much. It's just, and I don't know if you're familiar, she just became a resident at Misericordia here.
Oh yeah.
And Sister Rosemary's one of those she's not as hidden now, but
she's a hero.
There's a Mercy nun who had a vision, caring for special needs.
Yes, no, I know their work. My last travel plans actually was at Old St. Pat's, celebrating the good work that goes on at that church. And I definitely know Misericordia. Congratulations to your daughter.
Thank you so much.
It's efforts like, as you just mentioned, sister there, not getting a lot of recognition, maybe some, but, definitely not what she deserves. But she does the good work day in and day out. And your daughter is showing us all about grit and determination. When you talk about being a gymnast and a skier and a basketball player, I think, gosh, I got to get off my fanny here. And she's leading, right? I mean, seriously, she's leading.
She got those talents from her mother, not from me.
And I will attest to that. Our days in the seminary, I will attest to that, Mark.
Now, I had one other question, and maybe I don't know if we have time now, or we'll take a little break and come back.
Take a break.
Okay, let's take a little break. And the question I'll have, Mark, for you is, as you look at the book, 10 Hidden Heroes, how can it be utilized in schools, in parishes? It just sounds to me like the kind of book that talks about spirituality. And so think about that. And we're going to take a little break. WNDZ 750 AM on your dial, Catholic Chicago. Mark Shriver, we're going to be talking about 10 Hidden Heroes and his ideas about how that book can be utilized by teachers, by priests, by ministers. We'll be back in a few minutes. Please stay tuned.
Hey, it's Timothy Johnston here from Liturgy Training Publications. Over the past few months, I'm sure you've found yourself at home more, whether it's working from home or watching live stream masses on Sunday mornings. As we began adjusting to this at the beginning of the pandemic, one of the things I missed the most was gathering with friends at the parish. That's why we at LTP have created this new virtual gathering series called Living the Sunday Word. We meet virtually on Thursday evenings each week and reflect on the upcoming Sunday readings. And with that, we share stories to help us more fully reflect on the Word of God. I'm inviting each of you to join us, a group of friends meeting virtually from all parts of the country. So visit ltp.org for more information and to register. You won't want to miss this.
Catholic Charities staff members work every day to end poverty and homelessness. We do this on a one-to-one basis with anyone who asks for help. We also work with organizations who study these issues across our city, state, and nation. The Wilson Sheehan Lab for Economic Opportunities, or LEO, at the University of Notre Dame is one of these research centers. Through our partnership with LEO, Catholic Charities has gained valuable insights into scientific evaluation methods that determine the most effective interventions to help people avoid poverty and homelessness. Along with our experience and compassion, trusted research is helping Catholic Charities offer hope and so much more to anyone in need. For more information, visit CatholicCharities.net.
The Word Made Clear is exactly what its name implies. It's an easy-to-understand explanation of the Word of God, the Gospel. Hello, I'm Father James McElhone, Director of Biblical Formation for the Archdiocese of Chicago. I'd like to invite you to take our free online Bible study program by going to thewordmadeclear.org. Our website offers an audio-based guide to the Gospels of Mark, Matthew, Luke, and John. Listen to my lectures and follow along with the handouts provided. There are even discussion guides. You can also explore the biblical roots of the Mass. And there are links to a wide variety of biblical sources that will benefit both teachers and students of the sacred scriptures. Just go to wordmadeclear.org to experience our free online Bible study program. Again, it's free at wordmadeclear.org. It's the Word of God. Enjoy.
We're back, WNDZ, 750 AM, Catholic Chicago. Father Greg Sakowicz, host Mark Teresi here, and we're live streaming. We're safe distance. We've got our mask on. 312-255-8408. We're speaking with Mark Shriver about a special book he's written, 10 Hidden Heroes. And before the break, I had said, Mark, how do you see this book? How do you see spreading the word with this book and it being utilized to stimulate teaching and discussions with different populations?
Well, it is published, by Loyola Press, which is out in Chicago. I think they did a beautiful job with the book, and they were a great team to work with. It's a fantastic operation, Loyola Press. And I'm hoping, the book is really based on Jesus' call to feed the hungry, to clothe the naked, shelter the homeless, visit those in prison. Which is very closely aligned with Isaiah as well. And, the great religions call us to love our neighbor. And Jesus' call is clear to Catholics and to everyone. And I'm hopeful that people look at it, and a couple of grandparents have told me they've read it with their children, and when the kids ask them, why is a child in a wheelchair who's in a road race a hero? They have to explain why somebody who's physically handicapped can be a hero. And it's really, somebody asked me, is this for ages 4 to 8? And I said, yes, it is, but it's also for, readers of all ages. So I'm hopeful that it gets into kindergarten classrooms and into Montessori programs and into the first couple of grades. But I'm hopeful that, people of all ages share the book.
Now, Mark, two quick questions. One is, if someone wants to get a copy of the book, Loyola Press, and is there, I presume the website would be?
It's sold everywhere. It's on Amazon.
Oh, okay.
It got up to the number 85 book in the world on Amazon last weekend.
Great. Congratulations.
Barnes & Noble, Walmart.com sells it. The bookstall up in suburban Chicago has it. So it's everywhere.
So again, for our listeners, 10 Hidden Heroes by Mark Shriver, Loyola Press. The other question is, you look in your own life, Mark, and I get the big impression I know about you, and that is faith is very important in your journey of life. Has it been that way since childhood? Has it just grown deeper as you've grown older?
I mean, I think the relationship has gotten deeper as I've gotten older, but, we were altar boys at 645 Mass at Holy Cross, Church in Tacoma Park, and my dad used to take us over there. And he and my mom both went to Mass on a daily basis. And I mean, every day, whether they were in Washington, D.C. or traveling anywhere around the world, the first question whenever they checked into a hotel room was,
where's the church?
Where's the church? What's the Mass schedule? That example of someone who went to Mass every day, who kneeled every day and asked for help and forgiveness and guidance, is very powerful as a kid. And I was educated by the Jesuits in high school, went to Holy Cross College, which is a Jesuit school in Massachusetts, with a lot of folks from Chicago actually who went to Ignatius and Loyola. So I know Chicago, and those guys coming out of Catholic schools are still great friends of mine, and that relationship, I hope, with God is deepened every day. But the Jesuit call to see God in all things and to, be a man and woman for and with others is a very strong part. I hope it's a strong part of me. I struggle with it. I don't do it very well, but I try. And that's what the book is about. It's trying to see God in all people.
Struggling is part of the journey with God.
Thank you. I hope you're right.
I'm banking my life on that one.
So am I. So am I.
And also, I always tell people, if you doubt your faith at times, it makes you human. And there's nothing wrong with that, because in doubting, we come to a stronger conviction. And also, you can't separate life from faith or faith from life. I'll be honest with you, when I went through high school, I didn't want to go to church.
Mm-hmm.
I went through a phase in freshman, sophomore, junior in Notre Dame in Niles, not too far from Loyola Academy. I did not want to go to church. It bored me. I got nothing out of it. And by my senior year in Notre Dame, I turned down a scholarship in radio and TV to Northwestern to want to be a priest. So I do believe in miracles.
Yes. We see it every day. I had one last question, Mark. What's your next big project? Anything that you kind of want to reveal to us?
I wish it comes, I don't know how it comes, actually. The idea, came when I met with some folks at Loyola Press. Joanne Cicerelli, the publisher out there, talked to me about a book that I worked on with my great friend and college roommate, who's now a bishop, Bishop Byrne, wrote 5 things, a little book of 5 things for everyday reflections. And Father Bishop Byrne, I went to high school and college with him, and Joanne suggested writing a children's book based on my work at Save the Children and my interest in that issue. So I don't know what'll happen. The Lord works in mysterious ways. The book on Pope Francis came about after a talk I gave at Loyola College in Maryland. So I don't know. I don't have any plans. I let the Spirit kind of hopefully will tell me where to go.
There's a great line from a John Lennon song. Life is what happened while I was making other plans.
That's a good one. I forgot that line.
It's a great line, but we need to bring the program to a close. This segment, so I want to thank in a very special way Mark Shriver, author of 10 Hidden Heroes, presently being sold at every major bookstore through Loyola University Press. Also the author of Pilgrimage, My Search for Pope Francis, and a memoir of his good man, rediscovering my father, Sergeant Shriver. So, Mark, thank you for joining us here on Catholic Chicago and WNDZ. It's been a real gift to have you, and God bless you. Keep up your great ministry. Keep up your great work.
And
thank you so much.
Say hi to my baptism buddy,
Yes,
Maria.
Maria for Mark. And you're listening to Catholic Chicago and WNDZ 312-255-8408. Father Greg Sakowicz along with Mark Teresi. The time is exactly 8:29 on this Thursday morning in Chicago. Stay with us and do not touch that dial.
Hello, I'm Cardinal Blaise Supich. I got my COVID-19 vaccination, and you should too. It took just a few seconds and was painless. The Food and Drug Administration determined the new vaccines are safe and effective, and the Holy See, as well as the United States Conference of Catholic Bishops, has concluded getting the COVID-19 vaccine is an act of love of our neighbor and part of our moral responsibility for the common good. We have lived with the pandemic for many months, and I know we're all getting tired of it. Vaccination is one of the most important ways you can protect your health and the lives of those you love and help bring the pandemic under control. When it is your turn, I urge you to be vaccinated. And remember to do your part by wearing a mask, washing your hands, and watching your distance. Thank you, and God bless you all.
The cemetery ministry is a core ministry of our Catholic faith tied to the corporal works of mercy. It's comforting to know that our Catholic cemeteries are caring for the remains of our loved ones awaiting the resurrection. There are 44 Archdiocese of Chicago Catholic cemeteries willing to help you in your time of loss. Call 708-449-6100 or visit CatholicCemeteriesChicago.org. Catholic Cemeteries, serving the Catholic community since 1837.
Throughout our nation and our world, people of all faiths have recently been joining fervently in all kinds of prayer. They have found that coming together in prayer is a source of comfort and strength. In this spirit of unity, the Archdiocese of Chicago has introduced a call to prayer, a telephone line dedicated to prayer. If you would like to join with another person in prayer, call 312-741-3388. This line is staffed from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. daily with parishioners from across the Archdiocese of Chicago. These volunteers are here to listen to you, offer support, and pray with you. A call to prayer includes a 24-hour voicemail and email options as well. Experience this wonderful opportunity to join with people just like you who trust in the power of prayer. That phone number again is 312-741-3388. Let's pray together today.
You're listening to Catholic Chicago on WNDZ 750 AM. Every Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m., the Archdiocese of Chicago presents programming about the people, events, and issues that touch our lives. Thanks for letting us be part of your morning. Now again, Catholic Chicago.
Welcome back to Catholic Chicago on WNDZ, 750 AM, 312-255-8408. Father Greg Sakowicz along with Mark Teresi. We are live streaming. We are physically distanced here. And do call in again, 312-255-8408. Second half of the program, great lineup here in terms of a great guest. The Board of Trustees at St. Patrick High Schools, Chicago's oldest all-boys Catholic high school, announced the appointment of Daniel Santucci, class of 02, an alum, as the school's next president. Dan, a former NFL player and experience development director, University of Notre Dame, becomes the third president in St. Patrick's 160-year history after the president-principal model was adopted in 1987.
And a little bit about St. Patrick's High School. It's in its 160th year. St. Patrick's High School's mission is to provide an educational experience of the highest quality, which enables young men to develop their maximum potential, lifelong learners, and assets to society and to the church. St. Patrick's currently operating under a hybrid learning model, welcomes students of other religious beliefs, varying academic abilities, and diverse ethnic and economic backgrounds. Students reside in the city.
And Dan Santucci, welcome to the program, Catholic Chicago, and congratulations on your latest achievement being the third president of St. Patrick High School. Good morning. Welcome to the program, Dan.
Good morning, and thank you so much for having me, and thank you for the kind introduction.
Well, the thing is now, I have to be very honest with you, Dan.
Uh-oh.
A part of this interview is very hard for me because I'm the class of 71 from Notre Dame College Prep in Niles. Do I need to say anything more? And
No.
also, I know a guy listening, a great friend of mine, Mick O'Rourke, and his wife Karen from St. Mary of the Woods. I know Mick is very, very involved over at St. Patrick High School. But, first of all, you're the class of 02. I'm the class of 71. Dan, I have sweaters older than you. And so, with St. Pat's is a great, tremendous high school. And also having loved sports my whole life, especially football. And now, what position did you play at St. Pat's?
So at St. Pat's, I was a tight end and a defensive end.
And what about college?
So at college, I was recruited to Notre Dame as a defensive end, and after 2 years, moved over to the offensive line, and started at left guard there for the remaining 3 years of my career.
And then were you drafted by the Cincinnati Bengals?
Yes, I was drafted in the 7th round by the Bengals. That's correct.
Yeah, and which I think was tremendous. And but I think it's such a tremendous gift to have the third president of St. Patrick High School being an alum, that you walked the halls, you sat in the classroom, you were in the cafeteria, you're playing sports, and here you are 19 years later after high school graduating to come back as the president. What does that feel like for you?
Yeah, it's truly amazing. It was, I was so honored when I got the call to be considered, for this role, and it took me right back to my days at St. Pat's. And after I went through the process and everything worked out, and my wife and I went back to the school, walking those halls, it was like I never left. St. Pat's was a place where I considered it was home. It was my home away from home for 4 years, and I literally would show up there at 6 a.m. to work out and be there closing the doors with Brian Glorioso and the football coaches at 6 p.m. or whenever we were done with practice. And it's a place where you feel comfortable, right? It's a place where the people there make you feel that way. They make you want to come there, to stay there. So to be able to come back and give back and to answer this calling, which I truly believe it is, to help these boys become young men, I'm just extremely grateful and eager to get started in July.
Dan, how old are you?
About 37?
37, correct.
So with an average tenure of 50 years, you'll be 87 by the time you finish as president. I had so Christian Brothers, is it Irish Christian Brothers?
The LaSalle mission of the Christian Brothers.
Okay. What impact did they have? I mean, if you're back there now as president, there had to be a strong impact on your life in high school. Can you share a little bit of that?
No, for sure. I mean, it honestly started with my parents, and I credit them for all the sacrifices they made, sending myself and my other, 3 siblings to Catholic schools from grade school through high school.
What grammar school, by the way, Dan?
So St. Francis Borgia.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. So we went to St. Francis Borgia. Then my brother and myself went to St. Pat's. My 2 sisters to Resurrection. So like I said, it started there, and then, obviously on to St. Pat's, where it really built that foundation, right? And of course, the LaSalle mission is deeply rooted within me. My Catholic faith is something that's so important to me, and another reason why Notre Dame was such an easy choice for me when they came, offering my scholarship. It was an easy decision. I remember my brother at the time, who was not a Notre Dame fan at all, just because of the Chicago alumni base, and kind of just went the other way. But when he read the letter that I was offered a scholarship at Notre Dame, I'll never forget. He told me, "It's done. You're going to Notre Dame." I mean, it offers you a great academics, obviously a Catholic school, and you get to play on national TV every weekend. What more can you want? And he was right. And but St. Pat's is where that's what allowed me to get to Notre Dame. The character, that the work ethic, all the things that St. Pat's built within me allowed me to get to Notre Dame, and I'm just, like I said, very grateful for that experience.
We're going to take a little break. WNDZ 750 AM, Catholic Chicago. Dan, when we come back, let's talk a little bit about, there's a special event tonight, too, that I know as president of St. Patrick's, I'm sure you're going to be involved significantly in fundraising, so maybe we could talk a little bit about that when we get back after we take a break. We'll be back, Catholic Chicago, in a few minutes. Please stay tuned.
Caring adults make all the difference in the lives of adolescents. Catholic Charities understands this, and our mentorship program provides a free opportunity for youth living in Lake County to spend time, virtually, with volunteers who genuinely care about them. This program is ideal for youths age 9 to 12 who may need support navigating the challenges of childhood and early adolescence. Our amazing volunteers serve as friends and role models who help youth recognize their strengths and empower them to reach their full potential. Catholic Charities conducts a thorough background check on every volunteer, and our program coordinator closely monitors and supports each relationship. Mentoring is a fun after-school program that is totally different from remote learning. Virtual group sessions help youth enjoy fun activities with their peers, too. We're connecting youth with great role models. Join us today. To learn more, call 312-937-3375. That's 312-937-3375.
We invite you to watch Catholic Chicago this weekend, featuring a conversation with Cardinal Blaise Cupich and video highlights from across the Archdiocese. Here's host Todd Williamson.
The effort to get vaccinated, why the Church is helping to spread the word. We'll go inside the classroom as a national study shows how Chicago's Catholic schools are keeping students on track during the pandemic. And too many people are going hungry. We'll visit a food pantry where Catholics are working to meet that need.
Watch Catholic Chicago Friday at 7 p.m. on Chicago Loop Cable, Channel 25, and Sunday afternoon at 3 on the Comcast Network, Channel 100.
We're back, Catholic Chicago, WNDZ 750 AM on your dial. Father Greg Sakowicz, Mark Teresi here with Father Greg, and Dan Santucci, the new president of St. Patrick's High School. They don't waste any time. Tonight, you have a special, your largest fundraiser of the year. How long have you been president?
How long? I officially started on July 1. So our current president, Dr. Joe, has been at the school for 54 years. And but like you said, tonight is one of our biggest fundraisers, which has been going on for a very long time. Our Green and Gold Gala, kind of better known as the corned beef and cabbage dinner.
Mm-hmm.
Although it'll be our first virtual fundraiser, we are just so thankful for all the support. We have over 400 registered guests. There's still time to register. And we're just so grateful.
Now, Dan, how can people register for tonight?
So I think they go on our website and click the link to register on the stpatrick.org website.
stpatrick.org, okay.
Yep, correct. And like I said, there's still time to register. My wife and I will be leaving South Bend here in a few hours to be on campus for the event. Although virtual, we're hopefully going to be able to do a few things over the internet to be part of the program. So really looking forward to it, and just want to thank everyone involved. Our mission is to help, keep lowering the cost of education and to provide, an education for all walks of life, right? And
and Dr. Joe has been there 54 years, and Brother David 50 years.
That is
So
correct.
they were both there as veterans when you were a student.
Yes, yep. And I remember both of them walking the halls like it was yesterday.
Now, what about was Brother Conrad there when you were there?
Yes, Brother Conrad was the president, and Dr. Joe was the principal.
Amazing.
So you
And those are great men, all of them.
Don't forget, Dan, you're going to be 87 when you wrap this thing up.
So 50 years from now, when Mark and I interview you,
yes, exactly.
and we're at 120 apiece, and interviewing you who's 87 years old.
Forgive us when we ask the same question over and over and over.
my first goal is to have my 3-year-old walk across the state, walk across in church and get his diploma at St. Pat's. That's the number one goal.
Wow, that'd be great. Now, so you're class of 02, is that correct?
That is correct. Yep.
So what plans do you have in terms of involving your classmates as president in terms of moving the mission along at St. Pat's? I'm sure you have some ideas.
No, that's a great question. I want to get all the alumni. We're so lucky to have an alumni base that believes in what we're doing and wants to be around the school, wants to give back, and we're so thankful for that. So yeah, I'll definitely be talking to a few members from my class and my brother's class, and just in general. I mean, that we want to keep bringing our alums back because they believe in St. Pat's and all that we're doing.
And Dan, your brother's what class?
98.
Oh, so he's 4 years older than you.
Correct. Yep.
Yeah, I think it's also as you started the position July 1. You've been doing it now for about 9 months, roughly. What's been the biggest surprise so far for you in the first 9 months?
So no, I technically don't start till July 1. I'm still in South Bend.
Oh, that's right. July 1 coming up in 2021.
Correct. Yep.
And therefore, what are your hopes looking forward as you begin the presidency?
Well, I'm very fortunate, right, with Dr. Schmidt and what he's done there, and the leadership staff and our board. I feel like St. Pat's is in a great position, and I'm excited to come in July and really, listen and learn, meet the leadership staff, meet the faculty, the coaches, everyone involved at the school, right? And right now we're working on a 5-year strategic plan, and I'm excited for the future of the school at Belmont and Austin. I really am. One of my goals, I want to foster a winning mindset in everything that we do: athletics, arts, community. Obviously, provide a great education, and just continue on the great tradition. There's a reason why we've been around for 160 years, and I just look to continue that forward.
Now, I noticed your parish is St. Paul the Cross.
Correct. We are moving to Park Ridge. We just bought a house, and we'll be moving there in June, and we will be planning on sending all 5 kids to St. Paul the Cross.
And Dan, I was born and raised in Park Ridge. I went to next door at Mary Seat of Wisdom.
And my wife is an alum of St. Paul the Cross, and I spent 7 years there as a minister. So it's a wonderful
It's a great
parish.
community, 2 great parishes, Mary Seat of Wisdom, also St. Paul the Cross. So I know the neighborhood well. I go back, the family moved there in 1955, so I was 2 years old. So you're going to a just tremendous parish there, and and 5 children. And now, what are the ages of your children, Dan?
So my oldest Johnny's 12. I have a daughter Avery 10, son Luke 7, daughter Abigail 5, and then my youngest Andrew is 3.
You're a busy mom and dad there. Mark, take us to break.
Yes, we're going to take another little break. WNDZ 750 AM Catholic Chicago, 312-255-8408. We'll be back to talk to Dan Santucci about some of the future plans for St. Patrick's High School as he takes over as president this coming July. Please stay tuned.
Catholic Charities staff members work every day to end poverty and homelessness. We do this on a one-to-one basis with anyone who asks for help. We also work with organizations who study these issues across our city, state, and nation. The Wilson Sheehan Lab for Economic Opportunities, or LEO, at the University of Notre Dame is one of these research centers. Through our partnership with LEO, Catholic Charities has gained valuable insights into scientific evaluation methods that determine the most effective interventions to help people avoid poverty and homelessness. Along with our experience and compassion, trusted research is helping Catholic Charities offer hope and so much more to anyone in need. For more information, visit CatholicCharities.net.
Hello, I'm Cardinal Blaise Supich. I got my COVID-19 vaccination, and you should too. It took just a few seconds and was painless. The Food and Drug Administration determined the new vaccines are safe and effective, and the Holy See, as well as the United States Conference of Catholic Bishops, has concluded getting the COVID-19 vaccine is an act of love of our neighbor and part of our moral responsibility for the common good. We have lived with the pandemic for many months, and I know we're all getting tired of it. Vaccination is one of the most important ways you can protect your health and the lives of those you love and help bring the pandemic under control. When it is your turn, I urge you to be vaccinated. And remember to do your part by wearing a mask, washing your hands, and watching your distance. Thank you, and God bless you all.
We're back, WNDZ 750 AM, Catholic Chicago. We're talking to Dan Santucci, who is beginning as the president of St. Patrick's High School this coming July. I have a serious question, but I have a question before that. Dan, go back to your time in high school and give me a reflection on how you felt about Notre Dame teams.
Well, as you know, that was our rivalry, and you know, at the time we obviously didn't. As a football player, I wasn't a fan of Notre Dame, and definitely wanted to beat them. We circled that game on the schedule every year, but no, but in all seriousness, these days, like, just to have two all boys schools, you know, Catholic schools, you know, doing well, I think it's just great for our community.
Yeah, you know, Dan, I would totally agree with you because, again, isn't when I'm class of 71, you're class of 02, and the fierce rivalry, which was so healthy, and two tremendous schools, and it isn't funny, I can talk about this 50 years later, and these stories of Notre Dame, St. Pat's, and yet that rivalry is healthy. But I'll tell you something, I've got such a tremendous respect for St. Pat's High School for the great work, but I forgot it's 160 years in existence, and Notre Dame High School, I think, goes back to like 1954, which would be much, you know, less than that. And in fact, what's the present enrollment at St. Pat's right now?
I believe it's right around 500, 525,
Good.
right around there.
And Mark, got another question there.
Yeah, so at Holy Name Cathedral, we're just completed, and we're starting to implement a strategic plan, so I get that piece of it. What are some priorities that you saw in that plan that were attractive to you in terms of, we need to go in that direction?
No, great question. And you know, we're still going through it. So I've been part of some of these calls at night. But you know, one of the main goals is to increase admissions, decrease the cost of Catholic education. And when we talk through our strategic plan, I mean, we really believe in the all-male model, right? And its relevance today, turning boys into men, right? The St. Pat's tradition, the culture, people that represent St. Pat's and what we have to offer. You know, all these high schools are doing a great job academically. We all know that, or we wouldn't be around for 160 years. But what else separates us, right? St. Pat's, it always had diversity in its student body, racial, socioeconomic, career choices. It prepares kids for the real world. And I truly believe that. And our location at Belmont and Austin, it's all that, right? We're right in the city. We bring all forms of life to St. Pat's. We have the Lasallian mission to educate everyone. And we offer an academic program where if you want to come to St. Pat's and you want to go and be a tradesman, we offer that route. If you want to come to St. Pat's and go on to a four-year university like Notre Dame, we offer that curriculum as well. So I feel like we educate the mind, body, and soul in the highest way possible, and I look to continue that on.
It's interesting, Dan, I was listening to you talk, and that is when I was graduating Notre Dame High School, and I went to the seminary for the Archdiocese of Chicago, I did think about becoming a Holy Cross priest and going to Morneau Seminary in South Bend. And I thought if I became a Holy Cross priest, I would have loved to go back to my high school alma mater to teach Notre Dame and Niles. So the same thing happens with you. You must have had a real love for St. Pat's High School as a young man to now give a huge part of your life back as a new president of St. Pat's to come back 19 years later.
No, you hit it right on the head, Father Greg. I mean, for me to leave the situation I have here in South Bend and the University of Notre Dame, which is a great place, and what it's done for my life, and met my wife here, and it's a great place to raise 5 kids. But to go back to St. Pat's and become the next president and to help, like I said, turn these boys into young men and to provide any kind of influence I can and through our school to help them achieve their goals, it lit a fire in me. And it was, like I said, it was truly a calling, and one that I, after discussions with my wife, we both believed this was the right move, and I'm super excited and super grateful.
We heard that in your voice, by the way.
Yeah, share a little bit about that's a big move for your wife and your 5 kids to move.
It's huge.
It's huge. So how did she see? She probably saw in you how the impact of St. Patrick's and you coming back. Can you share just a little bit of that?
Yeah, it's special in a way because my wife was born and raised in Texas and did not go to Catholic schools. And when we met and she saw the effect Catholic education had on myself and my family, it was something that she wanted to instill into our kids. And like I said, we have a great thing going here in South Bend. But when everything lined up to go back to St. Pat's, right? And when I go back to this calling, I know I've said that, having my oldest only be in 7th grade instead of already in high school where this would be a lot harder to entertain, So my oldest is in 7th grade. Everyone else is younger. We can move them. And when she saw the passion and the effect St. Pat's has had on my life and the opportunity to go back there and lead this great school, I'm so thankful that she bought in. She's super excited. We have family that all live in Park Ridge. My brother, my 2 sisters, my brother and sister send their kids to Mary Seat. My parents are in Harvard Heights still, so we're going to be close to family. And obviously her parents coming from Texas have an easy flight from Dallas to O'Hare now. So it all lined up. Like, she saw my passion and what this place, St. Pat's, has done for me, and was all on board. So I'm extremely grateful for that.
Talk about your life being turned around and changed. And if someone said to you a couple of years ago, starting July 1, 2021, you'd be the new president of St. Pat's, you would have said, no way. Never crossed on your mind, on your radar. But we need to bring the program to a close. I want to thank in a very special way Dan Santucci, the brand new president, 3rd president of St. Patrick High School. Congratulations, Dan, to you and also to your families. You make the big move from South Bend to Park Ridge, and blessings upon you and the community of St. Pat's. And have fun at the big fundraiser tonight.
Yes.
And so, Dan, God bless you in your new ministry. And you've been listening to Catholic Chicago and WNDZ. Special thanks to Mark Teresi, co-host. Special thanks to our producers, which would be Michael May and also Vince Girasoli, and to other producer Brian Hockey Hitman Brock. To all, God bless and have a great weekend.
Join us every Monday through Friday at this time for Catholic Chicago. You can stream our programs live or listen to past programs by visiting our website, archchicago.org, and clicking on Radio TV. And please connect with Catholic Chicago on social media.